Good afternoon, Mishpachim. I am coming with the second Torah reading of our Parsha of Chayei. We are in the book of Breshis, of Genesis, and we are in the second reading. Actually, today is the third reading. I will also try to upload that today as well, but now I'm going to read the second reading of Chayei. And we will begin. This is my Hebrew, English, Chitas, Chabad Seferim, Chabad Lubavitch Seferim publication. All right. Second reading. Ephron's field of Machpelah, which faced the plains of Mamre, the field, the cave within it, and every tree within its perimeter, was thus confirmed as Abraham's purchase publicly in full view of the Hittites and of all who had come to the gate of his city. All right. Verse 17. Rashi, Ephron's field literally arose. It had a rise in status because it passed from the hands of an ordinary person to the hands of a king. However, the straightforward meaning of the verse is the field, the cave within it, and every tree was confirmed as Abraham's purchase. Verse 18, Rashi, in full view of all who had come to the gate of his city. Among them all, and in the presence of all of them, Ephron gave Abraham legal possession of it. Verse 19, Torah. Abraham then buried his wife Sarah in the cave of the field of Machpelah, facing the plains of Mamre, which is Hebron in Canaan. The field and its cave were thus confirmed as Abraham's property as a burial ground, purchased from the Hittites through Ephron. Chapter 24, verse 1, Torah. Abraham was old. He continued to deeply internalize his experiences. God had blessed Abraham with everything. Verse 1, Rashi. God had blessed Abraham with everything. The numerical value of the word is the same as son. And since he had a son, he had to find him a wife. Speaking of Yitzchak. Verse 2, Torah. He said to his servant Eliezer, the elder member of his household, who was in charge of all that he owned, place your hand under my thigh, reproductive organ, and I will bind you by an oath to God, God of heaven and the God of earth. Do not take a wife for my son from among the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose midst I live. Instead, you must go to my former land, to Haran, the place where my family still lives, and take a wife from among them for my son, Yitzchak, Isaac. Verse 2, Rashi, the elder member of his household, because the word elder is in construct form, it is vocalized. Under my thigh, since one who makes an oath must hold in his hand an object with which a commandment is performed, such as a Torah scroll, mezuzah, or tefillin, and since circumcision was his first commandment and he fulfilled it with pain, it was particularly dear to him, and he took it as the object with which to take the oath. Verse 5, Torah. The servant said to him, perhaps the woman will not wish to follow me to this land. Should I take your son back to the land from which you departed? Abraham said to him, be most careful not to take my son back there. God, the God of heaven, who took me away from my father's house in Haran and from the land of my family, Ur of the Chaldeans, spoke concerning me, and even swore to me, saying, to your offspring will I give this land, will send his angel ahead of you to orchestrate events to your advantage. With his help, you will take a wife for my son from there. Verse 7, Rashi, God, the God of heaven, who took me away from my father's house. Here he did not say, and God of the earth, while before he said, and I will bind you by God, God of heaven and God of the earth. He was in effect telling him, now he is God of heaven and God of the earth, because I have made his name familiar among humanity. But when he took me from my father's house, he was known as only God of heaven and not God of the earth, since humanity did not acknowledge him, and his name was not commonly known on earth. From my father's house, from Haran, and from the land of my family, from Ur of the Chaldeans, who spoke literally to me. This is a grammatical commentary, so I will not read that. and swore to me at the covenant between the pieces. Verse 8, Torah, but despite all this, if the woman does not wish to follow you back here, you will be absolved of this oath of mine. In any event, do not return my son to there. So the servant placed his hand under the thigh of Abraham, his master, and swore to him regarding this. Verse 8 and 9, Rashi. Verse 8, Rashi. You will be absolved of this oath of mine, and then take a wife for him from the daughters of Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre. In any event, do not return my son. This word denotes a limitation. My son will not go back there, but Jacob, my grandson, will eventually go back. All right, and that is the second reading of Chayei Sarah. All right, I will read from the daily wisdom on the Parsha, inspiring insights on the Torah portion from the Lubavitcher Rebbe. All right, we are in Chayei Sarah, and I am right now in the second reading. We just read Genesis, which is Bereshit, chapter 23, 17 through chapter 24, verse 9. In order to bury Sarah, Abraham purchased the Machpelah cave and the surrounding field in Hebron from the local Hittites for a family burial ground. He did not protest the inflated price that Ephron the Hittite requested of him. The title of this Torah wisdom is called Elevating the Mundane. Ephron's field of Machpelah and the cave in it was confirmed as Abraham's purchase. The Hebrew word for was confirmed literally means arose. This teaches us that just as the Machpelah cave rose from mundane to holy status when Abraham purchased it, so do we elevate physical objects when we use them for a holy purpose. In fact, our mere intention of using an object for spiritual purposes uplifts it, even before we use it, just as the Machpelah field was lifted out of its former mundane status even before Abraham buried Sarah there. Just as Abraham was not fazed by the highly inflated price he paid for the Machpelah cave, we too should not be deterred by apparently excessive expenditures of either money or effort when fulfilling our mandate to elevate the physical world. We should never underestimate the potential positive impact of our actions. Furthermore, just as Abraham purchased the Machpelah cave, permanently establishing it as Jewish property for all time, we too should realize that when we elevate our personal portion of the world, we do so permanently and absolutely. And that is the wisdom from the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And that was beautiful. All right, have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys later.